I always live vicariously through this guy because he used to play pro football, and I'm always asking him questions about Bill Parcells and whatnot. It's Aaron Boone with MVP Mailhouse. Aaron, what's up, man?
Hey guys, all good, man. Another season came and went, and another non-Super Bowl trophy for your Cowboys and mine. So that's never a good thing. But hey, maybe next year. I
know. We've been saying that for like almost like 30 years now, but it's like almost a tradition here, man. It's almost a tradition when it's football season. That football season ends and it's going through free agency. We bring you on because we have to get ready, right? We got to get ready, right? And there's a couple of Aaron. Talk about this. Obviously, there's every month is a good month to send mailers out, but there's certain months that you got to really be mindful of, right? You got to think about like summertime's around the corner, back to school, holidays, all those things. Yep. And look, man, we're in March. People are just coming back from spring break, but, people are thinking about getting their appointments done because they want to go away for the summer and all that stuff. But also when you're thinking about going back to school, and I know a lot of people are thinking like, now going back to school, what are you talking about? That's like way too early about that. But here's the thing. Whenever you're thinking about mailers, because look, Aaron reaches out to me and say, hey, Dr. Bell, we got to do some mailers. I was like, what, already? And I just go with him because he's the expert there. But for those who are watching this right now, and they're like, you know what, I can just do the mailers whenever I feel like it, right?
Yep.
Educate people, man. Educate people.
Yeah. So, right now, so there's always, I call it the seasonality in dentistry, specific for direct mail. Direct mail is different than a lot of your other forms of marketing, your digital ads and other things, Facebook ads, things that you may be doing that are working. Direct mail is its own unique animal. I've been tracking this for 13 years now. And it's not just the season. It's literally down to the weeks within a month. You can improve performance by knowing which weeks and when to mail. And you just mentioned something that's key right now. So let me just backtrack. End of year, everyone's heard of end of year, use it or lose it type messaging, targeting more insurance people. This first quarter is statistically the top responding quarter typically because you have so many people. Why? Well, you have renewed benefits. And if you don't want insurance, that's okay too. There's other ways to target. You have more people transitioning to in-house plans, but they need a new dentist, unhappy with other ones, people making New Year's resolutions, and just change as you go into a new year. So that's a lot of the appointments that we hear on our recordings as we track it. But the other element happening right now is two things, spring break and how to plan around that. When do you mail? Before, after, during? It kind of depends on the office. My typical rule of thumb is at least a week before your spring break or a week after. Just avoid the week of spring break actually hitting homes. Unless you're open and have openings, obviously you can plan on that. But with a lot of practices closed, you don't want to be scheduling people 2, 3, 4 weeks out. You're going to increase no-shows. So, and the last kind of thing that I really like highlighting this time of the year, because of tax return dollars coming in, is your bigger case dentistry. If you have ortho care in office right now is the time you should be planting the seeds to get those new patients in for the exams, x-rays, put together a plan so that they're getting those braces on here in the next month or two and right as you ride into summer. So that's kind of the hot messaging right now. Just kind of some ways to kind of feature, here's a card right here. Use your tax refund, get your dream smile, new smile for spring. This is kind of the messaging, spring clean. We have tons of different types of messaging around that. Some of the trending things happening right now, they're doing really well as we link in these QR codes to specific landing pages. Something that I like to do. Maybe some of you dentists out there even got a mailing from me because I do it all.
You don't only talk the talk. You walk the walk too, man. You do the mailings yourself.
Yeah, so I do mailings, and one of my favorite ways to introduce some of my of what I do, and I recommend to dentists too, is just like this. Is I'll scan a QR code with a video of me. So now you're bringing direct mail to life for these folks that are getting your card. And now you're popping out to them and you're able to introduce the practice. And it can be a quick little 30-second video. Hey, I'm Aaron Boone, blah, blah, blah. All right. I'm Dr. Vo, walk through. And now you're proactively putting this in front of 5,000, 10,000 people in one day. And the scans, we're able to track all that, all the bells and whistles that you've heard on here for years of how we track and record and do post-mailing audits. I don't know if you remember, Dr. Bo, but the last time we did this, I had just recently did our MVP audit for you. And I found $119,000 in production you didn't even know were from the postcards.
No, I didn't even know that. I mean, that's what's so amazing about this, because a lot of times, and we know this as dentists when we're marketing to our patients, right? We ask them, like, how'd you hear about us? They're like, oh, I saw you on the internet. And then I look later and it's from Aaron, it's from the mailer,
Well,
because the thing is that so a lot of times you guys don't realize this is that, okay, they look at the mailer, right? And then they call the number, but then they also do follow up. They'll check your website. They'll do all these things. And a lot of times they don't remember that what jarred their interest was the mailer itself and not just like going to the website. Now, we got to address something right now, because people are going to get on here. They're going to see mailers and they're going to think to themselves like, man, I mean, mailers, that's like old school. That doesn't work for me. Dr. Vo, I don't even know why you're still doing that. You should be just doing Facebook ads, which I do. You should be doing Google ads, which I do. You should be doing internal order, which I do. But I still do mailers because at the end of the day, Aaron, whenever you open your mailbox, do you get a bunch of like mailers from other companies and stuff like that?
So the quantity of mail is actually down, and that actually only opens the rate of viewership. So as I've done this for 13 years, I mean, I've seen some spikes of highs and lows. Since COVID, it's really scaled up. And part of it is, I think, more than ever, well, I know this factually, for the first while, more people are working from home than ever before. Yeah. So that's like the trip. That's the break room, rather than, go to the office, as your person, you go to the break room. No, they're going out to get their mail, and they're looking at these things even more than ever. And we see that in the data as we track it and record it. But direct mail is far from dead. In fact, I think what we've done really well as a company, something that I've challenged me and my team from the beginning, is I want to advance this, right? Like, I didn't grow up, many of you dentists probably grow up, I can't wait, I want to be a dentist one day. And some not, by happen chance and a lot of sacrifice, you became a dentist. Okay, here's a breaking alert. I didn't grow up thinking, I can't wait to do direct mail for dentists all day. That wasn't my goal.
You were thinking about football, man. That's why you got those helmets behind you.
And that's, I had a chance to play, major college football, obviously in the SEC at Kentucky, and then on to professional for 9 years I played. And one of my proudest trophies is right here, my fantasy football this last fall right there. I got me a trophy in there. No, I'm just messing. That's what I live for now. But no, joking aside, is I wanted to bring I want to provide the best direct mail program in the industry, hands down. Like, I take a lot of pride in what I do when I put my name on something, just like when I did in football. I wasn't the biggest, fastest, strongest, but man, I had a chip on my shoulder every day at practice, every day at work, every day in the weight room. I wanted to prove myself that I could do it. And I know a lot of you, I've heard a lot of dental stories. I love hearing stories about how you guys sacrificed to get through dental school, to get through school, to sacrifice for the money, to open up your own practice. Literally one of my favorite things to do, the most rewarding thing. One of them is when I get an email from a doc that says, hey, thank you so much, Aaron, to you and your MVP team. Today was my last day of being an associate. My new startup is now big enough, or it's the seats are filled enough my schedule that now I can leave that and they're chasing their own American dream. I love it. I get so excited about it. So as a business owner myself, I understand that side. So what I wanted to do when I did direct mail, and back to your question of, is it dead? Is it this old dying thing? No, our technology, I would argue, rivals a lot of anything you're seeing in the digital space. We've combined so many different ways of tracking the postcards. That was the biggest knock in the old days. I sent out 10,000 cards and I don't even know if I got 1 or 2 calls. Hey, guess what? You don't have to guess anymore. I'm going to tell you exactly how many calls you had. I'm going to exactly how many appointments you had. I'll also tell you how well Mary handled every single call she took. I'll tell you what offers they asked about. Did they ask about offer 1, 2, or 3? Were they cash? Were they insurance callers? Were they male? Were they females calling? How many did they schedule? Your closing percentage. Like, I love data. newsflash, have you ever watched a football game? NBA, it is all analytics, because that's what drives results. Is you've got to be tracking these things. Luckily, we do it all for you. So that $119,000 you didn't know, well, look at, if you jump in Open Dental, whatever you're at, you run by a referral source, you're not going to see that money because your team didn't tag it or the person didn't say it. But luckily, I have a phone number that they called in.
That's why I love working with you, because again, a lot of times you'll send me that report. I'm like, I didn't even know that. I thought my patients told me something else. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to share it, because guys, here's the thing. What I wanted to get the point across is that no, direct mail is not dead, because again, when you open your mailbox, you still get some direct mail. You get it from major companies. These companies have massive marketing teams. You think they're just throwing money down the drain just because they just feel like it? No, there's analytics behind it, right? Would Aaron be working with all these dental practices if it wasn't working, right? And also, here's another thing too, something that, again, I am guilty of, and a lot of other doctors are guilty of as well. So when we talk to our marketing teams, we're saying, man, we didn't get anything from you. And the reality is we do. And Aaron's cool with it, but he will prove it to you. He'll come and he'll say, and he's done it to me. He's like, hey, Dr. Vogt, in fact, you did this mailing like 6 months. Actually, I want to say the record was like, I think someone saw something like 2 years ago, and they finally came in, and it was from a mailer I did like 2 years. It's like the gift that keeps on giving. But I want to show something here on the screen really quick. Here we go. Let me just adjust this a little bit so we get a little bit bigger here. But again, there's so many different things. We're on the site, but I want to point these things out because I don't want Aaron to like forget about these things. But Aaron, talk about, when we're talking about targeting, right? Like you're not just blindly sending stuff everywhere. You're actually sending it to people who actually normally come to my practice. Can you explain that? Because I think that's really powerful.
So if anyone visits the website, or kind of what you're saying, we break it down into these core, like they're variables that have got to be controlled. Mailing and tracking over 100 million cards for dentists is pretty eye-opening of what works and what doesn't. Now, one of the key things is it doesn't matter how cool of a design you have or how cool of a practice you have. If the home is outside of your market area, the odds of getting them to your practice go down significantly. Yeah. And I call it your core market area. And what we do, we built some really cool technology. It's our proprietary stuff, and we call it an MVP heat map using our map IQ. So targeting, rather than us guess your best neighborhoods. And this is, honestly, it's even with some of your digital ads, you're still doing this radius. I hate radiuses. Okay. Newsflash, people don't come to your practice in a perfect circle. So when you look at marketing at 2, 3, 4, 5 miles, for every bit you get further out, your percentage of getting those patients goes down. One, there's competition, but there's also geographical barriers of entry. Maybe to the north, you have an interstate versus to the south, or people tend to migrate towards cities rather than come out of cities. So one of the things that we've always offered for all of our Nifty dentists out there is a free heat map. No matter, regardless of what marketing you're doing, even if you never do direct mail, it's fine. Let me do a heat map for you. I will pin drop out the addresses of your active patients or your new patients over the last, I like to look at 3 years of data. I don't go back 10 years, 20 years, when it was different market and different people. And I drop those out, and we will see exactly where people are coming from, where your good patients are. And if there's certain patients that you don't want, I literally have docs. Okay, see where all my patients are coming from right now? I don't want to mail there. Those are the patients I don't want. Let's go to this side of the town to higher income.
Yeah.
All right. So with our mapping tools that we built, I can dive in here and look at that and understand it and see it. But 9 times out of 10, it is overwhelming, compelling. Like, it is compelling of where you.
I mean, it's shocking when you show me, because I'm like, I think I get it from here, and it's not. They're all coming from certain areas, and they all like to come in from certain areas. So it's just mind-boggling.
And once you embrace that, though, double down in those areas. So when we mail your card, when we design it, we print it. When we mail, we can take out your existing patients, so they don't get it, but their neighbors do. Okay. And that saves you so much money right off the bat, because now you're not paying to mail to your existing patients that are already active, that were just there last week. Why mail to them? Most programs out there don't have that. We call it a dedupe process, where we pull out your happy active patients and we just mail to their neighbors in these hotbed areas. And that's kind of the better targeting of it. So that's one component of it. Then we get into the design and what goes on there. And I promise it matters that, you've made some posts over the years about designs and what needs to be on them and what works. And, I will say on our website, I keep it pretty vanilla on there of what's there. But once an office is onboarded, we want to play to your strengths.
Yeah.
Find what is great about you and let your hotbed areas know about you, that you're there. You'll be surprised the hundreds of people that don't even know you exist. You think you've been there for 20 years and everyone knows you. They don't. They don't. So, yeah.
I want to talk about something that's really unique. And again, it's call tracking. You kind of alluded to that earlier. Can you just talk a little bit more about that? Because again, this is not like, hey, you can go to other. First of all, I would say the pricing, when it comes to the pricing, I mean, MVP is very competitive. In fact, I used to do everyday direct mail by myself. I used to do it myself. And then Aaron, he was like, okay, let's walk through it, right? He saw the time that I spent designing. He saw the time that I spent actually going to the post office and sending it out. And by the time we went through it, it was like more cost effective for me to go with him and have him do everything there. So I know there's a lot of people who like to do it themselves. And I was one of those guys. Okay. But here's the thing. The thing is that there's other things that are involved that you don't get if you're doing it on the heat map, but also tracking the calls and all these different things. And there's a couple of times that Aaron sent an email and he's like, hey, this so-and-so, there's an opportunity right here. And I'm like, what? I didn't even know about that. So talk about this, because again, it's more about trying to help you convert rather than just sending mailers out.
Yeah, it's oftentimes finding some holes, maybe even in your practice or in your process. But so no doubt about it. I believe we have the best value and service of what you can do in direct mail. Yes, you can. I'm a do-it-yourself person. I do a lot of handyman stuff around the house and things like that. And there's some things that you have to kind of draw a line in the sand. Okay, is my time worth mowing that lawn or paying someone $30 to do it? And what is that balance? If I enjoy it, for sure, I'm going to keep doing it. And that's the same thing. If you enjoy doing parts of this, great. But what I'm trying to get you the best results possible. And one of that comes with the Call Pro. So on every mailing we do, we put a unique tracking number. Yeah. This number is local.
Call Pro tracking number.
Brings right to your office seamlessly. You don't even know the difference. Boom. Your staff answers it. Not me. You answer it. Within a couple hours, my team listens to that entire recording and we grade it based on what happened. Was it a real opportunity? Who answered it on your team? Stephanie, Mary, Nancy. They're graded individually. Did they do X, Y, Z? We have about a 20 point key performance indicators that we grade. Did the caller ask about a certain offer? Did they ask, were they cash? Were they insurance? Were they all the things down to, did they schedule an appointment? If so, we write down the name behind the scenes of the appointment. Oftentimes you guys don't even know they're from the postcard. And because, hey, how'd you hear about us? Oh, I'm on your website. So your team types in website. We just captured that name, phone number, because we listened to it and it's recorded. Now, why did we do this? Well, when I first started doing this years ago, I'd call up, hey, Dr. Vo, your first mailing hit homes, week into it. Hey, how's it going so far? No idea. Let me ask Mary at the front desk. I'd literally hear doctors yell across the office. Hey, Mary, we're getting any calls from the postcard? Well, Mary remembers the one person that was asking about price. Oh, nah, I think we just got one call, but they were a price shopper. Guess what? They still needed a dentist. That's why they were calling. And that's a whole another issue of understanding that. So doc would get back on the phone. Hey, Aaron. Yeah, it doesn't look like we're getting any calls. Well, how do you defend that? I don't know. You don't know. We're relying on Mary at the front desk, who most front desks are missing 33% of their calls. So is that really a good parameter to know if something's working? Regardless, if it's a blimp flying over town, I don't care, with your name on it. You need to know what's happening on that. So we started recording calls years ago. Okay. Then I was talking to the doc and I'd say, well, you've had 15 calls so far, but I didn't know what happened on them. Neither did he, neither did Mary. So now, and over the last few years, we have a full program where we listen to every single recording and we grade it. We know if she gave pricing over the phone or he and scared him off, let's train on that. That's something you can improve, right? So it's not sometimes it's not actually your marketing that's not working, regardless of what it is. It might be a process of you don't have an overflow line. It's or it's just going missed, or during lunch, why are you turning off the phones? 10% of people will leave a voicemail. First-time callers, only 10% leave a voicemail. Guess what the other 90% do?
It goes to another place.
What other dentists are nearby? Because they're already online, right? I know everyone thinks their practice is the most unique and is just the best ever, and people are waiting to get there, but it's just not the reality in most situations. Is they're looking for the next. So to answer that phone, to get back to them, we give missed call alerts instantly. If you miss that call, boom, you can have that on your phone in seconds so that your front desk can call that number back. Hey, sorry, we just missed a call from this number. This is Dr. Vo's office. Were you calling to schedule a new patient appointment? Pause. And those people will still schedule. So the reason why I do that, it's the one. It's the power of the one, right? Like that one call could have just paid for your entire 5,000 minutes.
And a lot of times it does.
Yep. And you missed it. And that's why controlling the variables matters. And when you do an EDDM or do it yourself, you're missing some of those components of the other thing is just the savings in not mailing to it being more targeted.
Oh yeah.
And taking out your existing patients. Whenever you do direct mail, you have to mail to everybody. So that means that patient that was just left your office just got another card. Oh, wait, I could have got $100 off.
And that's so annoying. That's happened to me before. They're like, hey, Dr. Vo, what about this? And I didn't know because when I was doing it myself, literally, it's like a mass mailing. It's just indiscriminate. You're just sending it everywhere. So a lot of times people are like, oh, I'm saving money. I'm saving. Oh, you're not, guys. You literally are not. Trust me, because I've done it before. But again, you see all these other things. I wanted Aaron to bring out these other features because number one, you're not going to get that if you do it yourself. Number two, when you go to these other mailing companies, because I've researched them too before I started working with Aaron, they don't do these things. They literally they're like literally just a small step up from EDDM, but they're not doing the call tracking. They're not doing a specific number. They're not doing a heat map. They're not coming back and giving you a heads up.
The videos will track the QR codes for you. And the design and the offers, like what's working right now, not what worked 5 years ago or 10 years ago. We mail for dentists in 49 states. By the way, here's a plug for any dentist office in Vermont. If you sign up, I will give you a special. I need some. I have 49 states that we mail for dentists, and I don't have
anyone who practices in Vermont. You're gonna get hooked up with it.
You reach out to me. I want to say 50 states. I want to say 50 states so bad. But as we track these, we see what's trending and we see what's working, and you'll see the difference of the designs that I'm holding up versus the templates more that we have here online, because I see my stuff getting copied all the time. So I want to save it for I want to put the best out there for you. And I'm going to track it. I'm going to show you where to mail, where not to mail, when to mail, down to the week of the month. On 3-day weekends, here's a pro tip. Don't mail on 3-day weekends, because on Tuesday you have twice as much mail in the mailbox. So
there you go.
You don't want to mail on those weeks. On holidays, know how to plan around them. Look at your school schedule, local school schedules. We check all of these things before we ever give you a plan or when we mail. And it's just these little level things. I know you don't have time for it. I've worked with so many dentists, but you want the best results possible. And those are the things. That's our job. That's our job, to get the phone to ring with good quality opportunities for you. And you guys take those calls and schedule them, and we'll help you with that, with the training and the things like that, help your front desk schedule more. And then ultimately when they come in, right, that's when some dentists need to look themselves in the mirror too. Is like, hey, I had 12 new patients come in here and very little case acceptance. That's when we'll show you what hey, you're way below the national average of average new patient value. I'll show you that when we match all these results up for you.
Well, Aaron, I mean, we've come up to my favorite part of every Facebook live stream. My favorite part, sometimes the vendor's not so favorite part, but Aaron, you are the type of guy that loves the wheel and deal. Guys, here's the thing. There's been so many times people are like, hey, do you think he'll do that? I was like, dude, ask the man. Ask the man. He's always game to figuring things out. At the end of the day, he wants to be part of your marketing team. He wants to be, wants to work for you long term. I've been working with Aaron for years, right? Sometimes I'll even forget. He'll say, hey, dude, it's time to do a mailer. I was like, oh, dude, I totally forgot. Is it time? Let's do it. And literally, we have that relationship. I was like, Aaron, you're the expert there. I'm the expert on this end. You're the expert on there. And if my son wants to, he's starting to get a little bit into football, so I'll have to talk to you. Aaron's an expert there. Anything, if your kids are playing football and you're curious about like the latest workouts, he didn't bring this up, but he's got two like juggernauts of brothers, okay, that play football. They're freaking huge, all right? And one of his nephews is like probably one of the biggest guys football players I've ever seen. He's got the resources. That's something different. That's like cherry on top. But mailing, you talk to them. So, okay, So favorite part here is Nifty deals and pricing and whatnot. Just go through really quick what the
Well, on your browser right there, just type in /NTD at the end of your URL.
Oh, okay. Okay,
and
I'm
you'll
gonna do
see
that.
the Nifty Thrifty deal. It's kind of a backlink.
There you go. There you go. And I'll have to put that. I'll
So
have to put that up there.
MVPmailhouse.com/NTD. And
Here we
you'll
go.
see on here what we do here. So if you scroll down, so this is the most aggressive offer that you're going to find anywhere. Okay, this is our preferred partner. This is our number one. We love Nifty offices, mailed, and continue to work with them for a long time. But this number one right here at the top, let us give you a free heat map. Scroll up a little bit, you'll see that top one. That's that free heat map that I talked about. That's where I'll pin drop out your patient addresses. I'll show you exactly where people are coming from and your best neighborhoods to target, regardless of how you market. I don't care if you go door to door knocking, knock these doors. These are the best doors. Just think about it. Similar income, similar demographics. The neighbors of your of your best patients are your best target. It's same flow to your office, geographically, a number of reasons. Okay, so that's number one. Let's do a free heat map for you and proposal. I'll show you exactly what I would recommend. I'll give you a conservative approach, an average approach, and an aggressive approach, depending on if you just want to kind of put your feet in the water a little bit, or if you want to go. If you already know it works for you, let us do it better for you and probably cheaper, honestly. I should say less expensive, sorry, but I do like deals. All right, so scrolling down, you see the next one. We have the 500 referral handout cards and the $500 off your first intro package.
I mean, the referral handout cards, what I love about that, Aaron, is like I'm the type of guy that likes to go out into the community, meet people, and hand out stuff. Yep. I mean, I want to tell, and people are like, well, let me hand out my cards. You know what's really cool? These handout cards, because it's almost like a little ad on there and you don't have to say anything. They just grab it. And again, think about all the times when you go somewhere. Think about all the times where, and in fact, guys, I'll probably have to ask Aaron for more of these cards. We give these out all the time.
Let's do it.
I tell my team all the time, hey, you're going somewhere, you're going to go pick up lunch or something. You might just hand in this to people. And I'll tell you, man, people will look at this stuff and they'll, especially if you frequent like a business. Here's a bonus marketing tip. Okay. If you want to get in alignment and you want other small businesses to basically refer to you, this is super easy. And Aaron is an expert at this. He's an expert at this because he got his B2B marketing is like top notch. Literally, what you do is you hook up the other business. You actually go and you spend money there, right? Like there's a burger joint. Look, could I go to these chain burger place? No, but I go to this specific one because one of my patients owns it. No. And he sees me go there picking it up. And what does he do? Hey, Dr. Bo, you got some cards, right? Yep. So here, business tip 101, go to all the mom and pops, be their customers, right? Be their customers, introduce yourself, make sure they see your face all the time because you know what's going to happen? They're going to see your face so much, right? That when they need to go to the dentist, they'll feel guilty. They'll feel guilty going to someone else, right? They'll be like, oh man, Dr. Bo comes all the time. I got to go see that guy.
And the referrals that they're going to get, friends, family, ask them, who do you go to? Like it's crazy. So actually right before this live that we're doing, I literally just sent an update to one of my docs in Orlando and said, hey, here's the update on your handout cards. We put a call pro number on it for him. So we'll put a tracking number on it if you want on those for a small fee. Put it on there. We'll listen to every call. Listen to this. His last order of 500 that he sent out in he had in early 2022. It had 72 calls and 49 appointments from it. He printed 500 of them just like this and just handed them out randomly, a school event or a this or a that. I'm telling you, they work, and you can hand them out to your existing patient as they leave. Hey, pass this, pass along card, pass this on to a friend or family member. It doesn't need to be anything fancy, but like you said, put it at businesses. We do this for free for you. I'll do 500, but it's a $500. We'll design it, custom design with all of your images, logos. This isn't like a cookie cutter thing. This can be just as unique and cool as your actual postcard. We just do a smaller version of it. You can have offers or not, and design print. I'll mail a box of 500 cards to your house when you sign up with our program. In addition, I'm so confident that you'll love what we do. Basically, I'm taking out most all of my profits on your first mailing of our campaign. That's where this $500 off is, or $225 off, depending on it. Because I know if you will mail with us and see the difference over our intro program of 3 mailings, I'm confident you're going to see it work and you're going to want to do it again. You gave me $1 and I can show you, hey, I just gave you back 6 or 4 or 8 or 10. I always like asking, hey, how often do you want to do that deal? You gave me 1, I gave you back 4. Do you want to do it again?
All day long.
Want to do it again? And that's how transparent and transactional I want this to be, rather than you, yeah, I'm not sure if it worked. I hate that. That's my biggest pet peeves in marketing. And I don't like it too when I'm marketing, digitally or whatever. And I'm like, I don't know. Or I go to a dental conference and have a booth. I'm not sure if it actually works. Like, nobody likes that. It costs you thousands of dollars. I want you to know, and that's coming right from me, the owner of MVP. I want you to know exactly what you got, for good or bad. You're going to know, and then watch that mature. It's cool to see it at 6 months, at 12 months. Did they come back? Did additional family members from those homes come in? And you're going to see that ROI from September of 2022 keeps growing and keeps growing. And then that's why you do it again. And we use a new tracking number on every mailing, so you'll know exactly how well every one of them did historically.
And something I want to let everyone know as well, because again, like, I've been working with Aaron for years, and I don't send like the same old deals all the time. In fact, like, over the years, my practice changes a lot. Like right now, we are like killing it in ortho. Like, we are really, I mean, and again, like, our orthodontist, he gets super busy. And lately, the past few mailings, whenever Aaron and his team were out, they're like, hey, what about implants and all this? I was like, dude, like, I want to like really hit it hard with ortho. So the cool thing is that as your practice matures over time and you're adding more services and whatnot, these guys, they actually kind of adapt with you, right? They know what's working with other companies, because again, like other offices, I mean, Aaron has a lot of orthodontists, like that's their bread and butter. He was like, oh, dude, this works for all the orthodontists, it's going to work for your practice. So I just want to let everyone know there that if you're thinking like, okay, well, I'm not a startup, or I'm not this, doesn't matter where you are in your practice career. Doesn't matter what kind of services you offer. He literally works with everyone. And again, ortho is something that we're really building up, because I'm cutting days back. I'm giving more days to my orthodontist. I'm not in the practice as much, but the production is even higher with the orthodontist. So I want to let everyone know that he's got the experience there. So Aaron, before we log off here, everyone knows the Nifty deal. I'm going to put that in the comments there. But obviously they can reach out to you. You have an amazing team and whatnot. Again, is that the easiest way? Go to the website, fill out the form,
fill out that
call
Nifty
you, DM
form.
you. What's the best way?
Yeah, fill out that form right here, because it links you right to this deal. Sometimes I have people call in and they forget, just like when a new patient calls in, they forget what got them to call, and they'll sign up. And then after the fact, they're like, oh man, I forgot. Can I get that Nifty deal? Obviously, we want to help and honor that, but it's just a lot easier from the start to get set up. Fill out that form, some basic information. We'll run put you in our mapping software, see what the area looks like. I've told docs, hey, I don't recommend direct mail for your area. You're in a high-rise apartment complex in a crazy high transient area, downtown New York. I'm going to tell you, don't do this, because I've tracked it. I've mailed in those areas. I've mailed in 49 states. Plug for Vermont again. But so I want you to be successful. And with us tracking it and having a scoreboard that we're both going to look at every day, I don't want to sign you up if I don't think it's going to work, right? Just like you wouldn't treat a patient if a case is beyond your capabilities or your comfort level, you don't want to take it. We're the same way. Let me rate your area, and so to speak, I'll rate your ride and decide what works, and then what offers would work. And if you just, I have literally, I mean, dozens and dozens of, I have cards all around me, just came in the mail today, because I get a copy of each one sent to my own address. So I like seeing them. I have people all the time, hey, I don't want more new patients. I just want bigger cases. Like you mentioned, great. Let's work on an implant consultation pitch. Let's work on all on fours. Let's work on, to your point, ortho. Right now is the season to plant those seeds for ortho. So if you have that in your practice, definitely get. I've worked with hundreds of orthodontists all over, from start, super busy, thousands probably. So I know what works for ortho too. And so whoever's out there watching that, if you have any questions, just call. My team is super experienced. You will not speak with anyone on my team that has not mailed tens of millions of cards and have years of experience. My front facing people that you deal with. Now, behind the scenes, yes, we have people that help these teams, but your direct one-on-one rep has mailed tens of millions of cards and has years of experience.
And I will tell you guys this: if you really want to talk to Aaron, I will connect you. So message me.
And I'm happy to talk to some of you.
I mean, again, he'll talk to him. And again, if you really want to talk football, because I literally bother this guy each time he comes on these lives. We always talk about football, kind of see how his kids are doing and stuff like that. He In fact, guys, if you are in Salt Lake, the greater Salt Lake area, heck, even Utah, okay? I'm going to plug this. He's not going to want me to do it, but I'm going to do it anyway. Aaron and his brothers do a football camp. It's really cool. So again, I've told a few doctors about it, and they sent in some of their kids. So they do a football camp. You want to learn more? You're gonna have to call him at the MVP Mailhouse hotline and then ask him there.
There you go.
Okay,
yeah, we have me and my brothers have a nonprofit. I grew up in a big family. I'm one of 10. Grew up milking goats, which is not the fast track to success typically. My ticket off the farm, so to speak, was football and schooling, and I took a lot of pride in both of those. So we created a nonprofit because I never went to a single camp. I couldn't afford the $200, $300, $400, $500 to go. One of 10 kids. Are you serious? Like, not a chance, milking goats. So we have a nonprofit where we want every kid to be able to come, and we charge $29. If you can't afford it, come for free. And we give them about $70 worth of swag, free t-shirts, wristbands, framed photo of themselves. Like, we love it. And so, that's our Boone Brothers Foundation for kids. So maybe we'll bring it on the road too. If you guys, someone out there has a area you want us to come do on, we do 3 a year here in Utah. We've done one in Mexico. I've done a couple in Mexico, actually. I'm fluent in Spanish. I've in Germany when I was over there. We did one. So anyway, we just love the kids. that's kind of our give back.
If your kids are into football, again, they have that camp there, and who knows, right? Like you get some good mailers, right? You get some quality time with your kids, learning some football from professional athletes, guys who played in college, played in the pros. But Aaron, thank you so much for jumping on, guys. I'll put the link there. Reach out to Aaron, and we'll see you guys soon.
Awesome. Thanks.